Are you ready to increase your retention and revenue and convert website traffic to clients? Then you're ready for Maya. Maya is a marketing and client recruitment software. Maya creates better business relationships by pairing the right clients with the right beauty professionals. How do we do it? A matchmaker. Your brand will have its own unique matchmaking survey. By pairing people based on their skill set, budget, personality, and lifestyle preferences, Maya creates lasting relationships that keep both sides coming back for more. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Pair the right clients with the right beauty pros the first time. Visit joinmaya.com to get started.
Thank you for joining me. This is Katie Whitledge with a Beyond the Technique podcast. We're talking about mastering pivoting, becoming a master of the ability to pivot. I have first time guest, award winning 7-figure salon owner, Sarah King Lynch is here from
Oh,
Dallas, Texas, where the
oh, thank you.
big hair matches the big business.
It's so true. It's so true. Dallas loves the big hair forever and always, no matter the trend, it's always big hair. But thank you for having me on. I'm so excited, and thanks for recognizing the accomplishments of the salon. It feels good to hear those for sure.
Oh, it's so cool. And, you've done a lot in seemingly a short amount of time. Indigo Child is your salon in Dallas, Texas. You're $1 million salon, and yet you just opened 2018, right before the big storm hit. I don't even want to call it what it was, but you know what I mean. And
Something like that.
gosh, you've learned a lot to get to that point. We're going to get into that. But I just want to applaud just being recognized as a top 200 salon, and also, the best of the area that you live in, being recognized as best new business in your area. Um, and I just have to tell people two things. One, you can watch today's episode on our YouTube channel. We have the link in our show notes to do that. I always think it's exciting to see the faces behind the names, but even more important, click on the links in our show notes to check out Indigo Child's website, because like I said to Sarah, your photography on your website is a whole nother level. And it looks cool and yet expensive. It almost looks like my favorite clothing store I go and shop on online, and I'm inspired and I love it. So there's so much I'm excited to dive into today, Sarah. Let's start at the beginning for you. Like,
Yeah.
what got you into the industry?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I've been in the industry coming up 23 years, and I would have never gotten into this industry unless it was for a friend of mine. I was in college for a little bit, and it was not for me. And she begged me to go to hair school with her, and I went, and I fell in love right away. It was getting to be creative, it was getting to connect with people, make people feel good, but it was just a great creative outlet for me. And that's how I started. And after that, I basically got out of school not knowing too much. I just took the first job that I was offered, which was actually a really great salon. And um, at that age, I mean, kind of still, no one could really tell me what to do, and I did not want to do an assisting program because I thought I knew it all, of course. And so I went on the floor right away. But I was always seeking mentorship after that. I was asking people, I need a mentor, I need something. And it was my own fault for standing in my own way, but that's just who I was at that time. And um, I was like that for about 10 years, and then I fell in love with education. I was kind of getting burnt out. I didn't know what to do next, and I was invited to go to the L'Oreal Academy and for a balayage course, and I fell in love with education. And from there, my career just like took a change for the better. And then I was obsessed with education. I knew that I wanted to provide education or help people in the industry grow. So not at that point, but I kind of knew in the back of my head, I'm like, I should probably own a salon because this is my passion. And so it took me a little bit, and I ended up opening up a salon maybe 5 or 6 years later with a business partner at the time. And owning a business for the first time is very hard because you go in as a creative and you think, oh, I'm a great hairdresser, I should own a salon, which that's not always the case. That doesn't make you a good business owner. So learning and navigating that. And I figured out that I wanted to own something on my own so I could do it my way 100%. So I split with the business partner, and in 2018, I got the opportunity to open up Indigo Child. And I found this really small salon space in the back of another salon, and I brought my team from my first salon over there, and we worked in the back of a salon, another salon where our clients had to walk through the first salon to get to our salon, and grew from there. And I built out an amazing space in the Bishop Arts District of Dallas. It is 3,000 square feet. It took us about a year and a half to build out. And sorry, my dog walker's here. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. So anyways, so where was I? I was building out a
3,000 square
yes,
foot.
a 3,000 square feet space in Bishop Arts, and we moved over there in February of 2020 and opened the salon a couple weeks before COVID hit. So that was interesting to navigate through that. And I feel like I really, like, that's when I first, not first, but it was pivoting like 100% of like, what do we do? I don't know what's going on. I just knew I had to lead a team through that. And I would say that's probably one of my biggest accomplishments is navigating and keeping a team together and making sure everyone felt supported and still got the knowledge that they needed through this whole pandemic. So
So perfect.
yes. So here we are today. I'm at the new space in Bishop Arts, and we've been open for open over there since 2020. So
This is incredible. So
I
there's
know it's wild to think about.
so there's so much to unpack here about especially owners who have stylists on their team who you can kind of sense a little fatigue or just lack of engagement. It took you putting yourself in a new, different environment, which was L'Oreal, to spark this new, energized commitment to the industry. So I just wanted to point that out because I think we sometimes, no matter what industry you're in, what path you're taking, you're going to have those moments where you feel fatigued with it all. And it's not that it's the wrong industry or the wrong career path. It's that you need to put yourself in a new environment to be re-inspired by new, different people and experiences. So I love that you did that for yourself. Now,
Absolutely.
the partnership part is interesting. People are like, "Ooh, I kind of want to do this partnership," what would be your kind of like, "Hey, make sure you think about this because this was what kind of did not work out for us." And I think we're seeing a lot more partnerships in kind of newer, younger generation of stylists who are going into salon ownership with others. And then we see this sizzle out quicker because they just don't have that level of experience or maturity or whatever it is. But what was it for you that you were like, if I'd have known this, I would not have done this partnership? What was that for you?
So that's so good. I think they call it the rose-colored glasses. You think, oh my gosh, this person, we've been friends for a while. We both want to do this together. And it's almost like a support system where I really think if you want to do something, do it on your own. You already have it in your brain that you can make this work. Like you've already made that up. So if you think you can do it, just try it by yourself. I think that when you have a vision for something, no matter even if it's the same vision, it never is. So like, for example, if I say, what does like visualize an apple? So what do you visualize when I say visualize an apple?
Red.
Okay, so I visualize a red apple, but there's like water drops on it because I just washed it, right? So it's almost the same vision, but it's different, right? So communication is key, and like having a really healthy relationship with this person. But I'm also thinking like, keep your friends and do business either with someone that is already has had a business, or just do it yourself and get support in that way. I have 3 different coaches that I utilize, and those are my support system. And along with my husband and other friends that own companies and stuff like that. But I'm like, you can do it on your own. If you really feel like you can do it, just do it on your own. And keep your friends, because I'm no longer friends with my old best friend from that
Yeah.
too. It was just, it didn't work out.
The things
It's
that we
sad.
do when we're young is like I have an
Yeah,
full tattoo that's Chinese for friendship, and we were not friends like after 6 months of getting that. You know what I mean? Like the things we
right.
do when we're young. So I think that's really smart advice. And yet it prepared you for opening Indigo Child. So here you go, you open a salon, and actually, in my opinion, rather quickly, you reached a lot of success. What would you say were the top 2 reasons that you hit such success with Indigo Child? Because like you said, you had it in your brain, you knew what you wanted. What did you want that you now have seen that came to life?
Hmm. I think that being willing to be open with your employees and what they really want and what they really need, really taking that into consideration instead of thinking, oh, I need to do it all my way all the time. Like getting feedback back and forth is so nice. And it's something we foster within Indigo Child, is giving and receiving feedback on the daily, because we all need that to be able to grow. Um, the other thing, like I said, like the pivoting thing is so important. It's just knowing like business is going to take you on all sorts of crazy paths that you can't even dream up. And there's always something coming. So it's that time in that moment of like, okay, sit, take it all in, and knowing how to pivot too, because if you pivot too fast, then your team is like, what's going on? You've got to have like calculated moves. And I think that's really helped me along the way.
Yeah, let's dive into pivoting because it's an important adaptation that we all need to be willing to step into. If we're not willing to pivot, we are going to have losses,
For
and we
sure.
don't want to be the people that are stuck in our old mindset and our old ways and unwilling to change. So, you brought up a really good point. There's tactic to pivoting. What would you say you look at in order to say, okay, do we need to pivot on this? What do you look at in order to decide that something needs to have a pivot or a different approach?
So I think having a team that supports you as well helps you with that, because I think when I want to do something within my company, even if I think it's the best idea ever, I bring it to my director team, have them think about it from where they are. What could go wrong, what could go right, things like that. And then I also lean on some of my younger stylists too, because we have a rising leadership team that I'll run a couple ideas by sometimes to see how it would affect them on that level as well. Cause I want to make sure the changes that I'm making within my company benefit everyone. And sometimes I get it wrong, and I have to come back and say, you know what, I really messed up on this, but we're going to change this and move forward. So it's just kind of like, you're not going to make the right move 100% of the time. And that's okay.
Yeah. You mentioned a minute ago that sometimes we can pivot too quick. I think that as young, and even though we've been in the industry, you and I, a decent amount of time, I think we still look young and we're young. So, and like sometimes young owners pivot too quickly. What has, because we're like, oh yeah, we'll change and we do it. It's sloppy. We miss steps. We haven't thought it through, or we end up reverting back. What would be your kind of cautionary approach to how to make sure not to pivot too fast?
Yeah, I mean, I think that as business owners, we always get great ideas and they hit us at midnight and we're go to the salon the next day and we're like, we're doing this. It's going to be so exciting, but we only can see one side and everyone else could just be like freaking out. Like you want people to trust you and choose that you are making the right decision to lead them. And I think that, um, moving too quick, it's just kind of like whiplash. It's like, okay, what's going to change next? What's she going to do next? Like you want to be a steady leader and not one just taking people for rides. And I think like you do that one or two times, you're like, oh, that wasn't that good, you know? So now it's just, I have a 3-month rule. I'm like, I like to take it in. I like to try it out. I like to ask around. I'm like, 3 months is actually pretty quick when you think about it, but it's quick in a calculated way that we're weighing all the options and learning about what we're doing, like really diving into that too.
This is huge. This is like a big nugget for listeners, like a 3-month rule. So it goes from idea to feedback loop. And then do you actually test it out and give it 3 months, or you don't even like you wait and not even launch the idea for a minimum of 3 months until you've kind of gone through all the things to think through it?
Yeah, I call it initiatives. So we'll have initiatives throughout those 3 months. And then you can really kind of see what's coming up. So like for instance, like we're switching salon softwares in the new year. So it's like kind of onboarding and getting everyone in the leadership team and directors team very comfortable with it. Because that's the last initiative to have those people, the point of references really well versed in it. So, and they're already bought into it before launching something big too.
That's huge. Yeah, the buy-in is a big thing.
Yeah.
What else about pivoting is important for owners to think through? So let's imagine you make the pivot, you have the change in place. Then what do you do to make sure kind of it sticks and everybody stays positive about the change?
Yeah, that one, I mean, it's just kind of quality control, like making sure that you're having conversations that need to be um had quicker than later. We have a 24-hour rule at the salon is like anything that's been brought up, we need to solve or talk about within 24 hours. I think the communication and just making sure that everyone feels supported in certain things. So like we have all sorts of different checkpoints for our employees. So like weekly meetings, monthly meetings, just stuff like that. I mean, not so many meetings where they're overwhelmed, but there are points where we get to have like one-on-one conversations. I try to communicate through, we use Slack a lot. So like checking in on certain things, just one-on-one, just making sure that everyone does feel supported and they're not, nothing's getting left behind or slips through the cracks.
Since opening Indigo Child, what is the biggest change you've noticed in yourself, whether that be as a leader or just as a person in general?
I think I've learned to delegate more things because there's things that I don't really like to do that other people do like to do. And knowing that I can't do everything, nor do I want to do everything. So just like letting go of some of this stuff and giving it to other people too has been probably my biggest success because I feel like our growth has been um it's been great because of that. And when I give things and delegate things to other people, letting them know, like, I'm here to support you on these things. If you don't get it right the first time, I don't care. Like, I'm a big fan of messing up and learning because that's how I learn. But I just make sure that they know, like, it's okay. Like, we're giving this to you. I don't expect it to be perfect at all. Like, it's going to get there and all we have is time. So let's do that. So I think delegating and going like, it's refreshing to go home at night and go, I didn't have to do all the things. Like there's many people on my team that do want to grow with the team and grow with the company. And so just giving it to them and trusting them and coaching them along the way and being that support for them too.
Love that. That is so awesome. When you think about 2025, Sarah, what are your top two objectives to propel your business in this new year coming soon?
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is a good one. Like, okay, one of our core values is growth. I keep on talking about that, but we really want to grow our team. I would love to double it by the end of the year. Um, I just, there's so much potential in this space, and I have a really big 3-year goal that I'm trying to get to grow the company itself and allow more positions in the beauty industry for anyone that wants to be a part of Indigo. So that is on my first and foremost. And then I have been for the last couple of years stepping away from the chair and I'm like death gripping my last 6 hours. I only work on Thursdays behind the chair for about 6 hours, and I've been death gripping it because I love my guests so much. And I love doing hair, but I think like finally letting go of that so I can work on my business instead of in my business is really important, because like I am learning so much more about the market. I love the marketing aspect. Like it's so intriguing to me. So I love that we have so many tools to be able to connect with clients. So like diving into that more. I love, which is really strange, I love the financial aspect of it, of like tweaking all of our P&L and like all of that type of stuff to make sure that we are running the profit margin that I want to get to. So I've been loving the details of that, which you would have never heard me say that like 5 years ago, but I've been obsessed with it. I think it's so fun just trying to figure out areas where we need to increase or decrease and all of that, and just developing my team more. So that's 2025. I'm just so excited for it. The word that comes to mind for me is elevate, just elevating everything and getting it going to be able to get to that 3-year goal of mine.
What is the 3-year goal?
So I have an idea about, of course, expanding, opening other salons from Indigo Child, but I'd really love Indigo Child to be the hub, and then creating some more smaller boutique style salons off of Indigo that my higher level stylists can get to and be shareholders in and all of that. So I'm excited for that. And I just want to give people the opportunity, like I said, to grow with Indigo, be supported, and make a lot of money too.
Yeah, you knew I was going to ask that. You were like, "Ooh," but we got to know. And plus, you put it out there now, right? So
Yes,
there's
yes,
a sense of accountability to this. So it's very
for
good.
sure.
I love it. I love it. Well, you've done so much, and I just applaud who you are, who you've become, who you continue to be and grow into, and how you're bringing your brand and your team with you on that journey. I think I see it, and it's really inspiring. So for owners listening today, what would be some final words of like wisdom or encouragement if they're like, gosh, that's the path I want to head? What would you want to share with them?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I've learned so much, especially in the last 4 years. And I think that knowing like you never know what's going to be behind that door the next day, just being open to pivoting like we were talking about, but also just kind of letting go and let your team let you have to let go of things, even things that like concepts you have in your mind, the way it's going to go. You've just got to let go of some of that stuff to grow, and just be gentle on yourself, because business ownership is really challenging, but it's so beautiful and fun and rewarding. I wouldn't take it back, even though I've had many tears through this whole thing. But yeah, just pivot and be gentle with yourself for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And I agree. It's not for the faint of heart, but I'll just share that one of my top takeaways from what you've shared today is thinking about what could go wrong and what could go right. I think oftentimes as visionaries, we get excited about how things could work out. And we, in addition to that, need to plan for what might not work out. And if you prepare for both, you have less anxiety in the moment when things go whatever direction. And like you said, then you're willing to pivot and take what comes. But you're a little more prepared. So thank you for what you bestowed upon me and for everybody listening today. I really appreciate you being here, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
Yay. And thank you all for joining us here week after week. We appreciate how loyal you are. If you could take a moment to leave us a positive review so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we are here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, everybody, have an awesome day and stay strong.